Good morning to my dear student and welcome to Zoology online class. In the previous class, I had completed, that is the skeletal connective tissue. I had completed the skeletal connective tissue, and under the connective tissue, I had taught you that is the connective tissue proper, then the skeletal connective tissue, then the fluid connective tissue. But actually I have taught you that is the connective tissue proper and skeletal connective tissue. But that is I had not taught you about the fluid connective tissue. Under the fluid connective tissue, we will read that is the blood and a leaf when the offline class will start. Clear? Because it is under the circulatory system. It is under the circulatory system, and I will taught you that is detail in that classes. Clear? Otherwise, it will be that is the necessary for that is the higher study, and you should have sound knowledge on that is the blood and leaf, because it will help you later. And then today I will start the muscular tissue or the muscle tissue. That is the muscle tissue, or the muscular tissue. I will start that is today, that is the muscle tissue or the muscular tissue. You know our body muscle, these are the body muscles. These are the body muscles. So these body muscles are formed of the muscle tissue, and our body contains about 40 to 50% of the muscles. Our body contains about 40 to 50% of muscles, and these muscles are formed by the muscle tissue. And the muscle tissue originate from the mesodermal layers or the mesodermal cells. But the iris and the ciliary muscles, they are exceptional. They have originated from the ectoderm, Then after, the study of muscles is called as the myology. That is myology, or you can say in other way, that is the sarcology. The study of muscle is called as the myology or the sarcology. Clear? Then the muscles develop, or that is the muscle cells are otherwise called as the myocytes. Muscle tissue is made up of the muscle cells, or you can say these are the myocytes, and it is otherwise called as the muscle fibers. That is the muscle fibers. These are the muscle fibers. Why these are called as the muscle fibers? Because the muscles are elongated in shape. Slender mane saru and elongated mane lamba. For that reason, this is otherwise called as the muscle fibers. Fibers, I have told you in the previous class, fibers means sutavaliya, that is a lamba. That is, it is called as the muscle, that is the fibers, or the myocytes, or that is called as the muscle cells, are called as the muscle cells. Clear? Then the cell, that is the cytoplasms, which is present inside the muscle, that is the muscle cell, is called as the sarcoplasm. Is called as the sarcoplasm. ସବୁବେଳେ ଏଠି ସାର୍କୋ ଗୋଟେ ଆସୁଛି. So the study of the muscle is called as the sarcology, and that is the in some muscles there is a outer layer of the muscle that is called as the sarcoplasm. That is called as the that is sarcolemma. That is called as the sarcolemma. Clear? And that is the cytoplasm which is present inside the muscle cell. They are called as the sarcoplasm. And similarly, the endoplasmic reticulum. You know, the endoplasmic reticulums are present inside the cell, and which gives the mechanical strength to the cell by forming the skeletal framework. And you have that is the read in the cytology of the botany. Clear? And where that is, they are of two types. One is smooth, another is thus rough. So the muscle, that is the reticulum, that is the endodermal, that is the reticulum, that is the endoplasmic reticulum, are called as the sarcoplasmic reticulum. That is the sarcoplasmic reticulum. Clear? These are called as the sarcoplasmic reticulum. Similarly, the mitochondria which are present in the muscle cell, they are called as the mitochondria which are present inside the muscle cell, they are called as the sarcomere. They are called as the that is sarcosomes. That is, they are called as the sarcosomes. That is called as the sarcosomes. And similarly, that is the inside the muscle cell, the nucleus, the number of nucleus is variable. It may be one, it may be more, depending upon that is the types of the muscle. The types of the muscle. Are you understanding me or not? That is, let me repeat again. That is the muscles. Our body is formed of, that is our body muscles are formed of the muscle tissue. About 40 to 50% of our body is made up of the muscles. And the study of muscle is called as the myology. And the muscles are mesodermal in origin, except that is the iris as well as the ciliary muscles in the eye. That is the iris and the ciliary, that is the body in the. So this is, suppose this is the eye, and that is the outer layer is called as the sclera, and inner layer is called as the choroid. Inner layer is called as choroids. Clear? So that inner layer choroid, and after the choroid another layer is present, is called as the retina. Is called as retina. So this here the ciliary muscle body is present, and here the ciliary muscles are present, and the finger-like projection, or which forms a circular structure, that is called as the iris, and that iris, the gap is called as the pupil of the eye. So this iris as well as that is the eye, inside the eye, as well as the ciliary body. This is called as the ciliary body. And the iris and the ciliary muscle, you may say that ciliary muscles. So the iris as well as the ciliary muscles are formed of ectoderm, Clear? Then that is the muscle cells are called as that is the muscle tissue is made up of the muscle cells, and these muscle cells are otherwise called as the myocytes, or that is they are called as the muscle fibers because they are elongated in shape. For that reason, they are called as the fiber, because the fibers are thread-like structure. Fiber means thread, sutta, and this is a fiber-like structure or a thread-like structure. So it is called as the muscle fibers, and that is the cytoplasm inside inside the muscle cell is called as the sarcoplasm. And that is the endoplasmic reticulum, which is present inside the muscle cell. It is called as the sarcoplasmic reticulum. Similarly, the mitochondria are known as the sarcosome. And in some case, there is an additional layer is present over the body, that is called as the sarcolemma. Clear? Otherwise, it is covered by the plasma membrane. Clear? Then, so what is the important structures of the muscle cell? So how that is, and another thing, the muscle cells are compactly arranged by the connective tissue, or the muscle cells are held by the connective tissue without having any intercellular space in the muscle. The muscle, inside the muscle, there is no intercellular space. Like the epithelial cells, there is no intercellular space. Here the cells are very closely packed and the basement membrane is present just below them. But in case of the connective tissue, here the cells are haphazardly present, or they are widely, distributed or present widely, having a large gap inside them or among them. This is called as the intercellular space, and which is filled with the fluid-like substance, that is called as the intercellular fluid, or it is called as the matrix. All this is called as the matrix. Depending upon that means in the connective tissue, the matrix is more and the cells are less. And inside the matrix, there are different types of fibers are present, and mainly the white fibers and yellow fibers. Along with them, that is some reticular fibers are present. Clear? But here in the muscle cells are held together by the connective tissue without any intercellular space. Clear? Then, so why these cells are called as the muscle cell? So what are the main properties of the muscle cell? The main properties of the muscle cell are, that is two main properties. One is conductibility, that is contractibility, and excitability. That is contractibility and excitability. One is contractibility. Contractibility, and another is excitability. So what is the meaning? Contractibility means, so muscle cells are those cells, they have the power to contract and relax. So they are the muscle cell. They have the power to contract and relax. So that is called as the contractibility. You have to remember that muscle cell must have the two properties. One is contractibility, another is the excitability. Excitability means can receive and respond to the stimuli. That is, after getting the stimuli, then when a stimuli reach there, the muscle cells had the capacity to receive the stimuli. Are you understanding stimuli? Any change externally or internally, that is called as the stimuli. Clear? So if that is the stimuli, that means it has the capacity to receive the stimuli and to respond to the stimuli. That means after receiving the stimuli, it has to contract or to relax. Clear? So the muscle cells have the two properties. One is contractibility, another is the excitability. Clear? So this is the main two, that is the structure or the properties of the muscle cells. So we will say that is those cells having these properties, and they are called as the muscle cells. Clear? But another thing, why the muscle cell contract? Why the muscle cell contract? Because that is, it receives, that is because inside the, that is the inside the cytoplasm, that is inside the cytoplasm or sarcoplasm, there are very fine thread like structures are present, which are called as the, that is the myofibrils, which are called as the myofibrils. These are the fine structures, these are called as the myofibrils. These myofibrils are present inside the muscle cell, and these myofibrils are contractile in nature, and for that reason the muscle is contracting in nature. So muscle cell भितरे सरू सरू सूता भलिया very fine सूता भलिया structure अच्छी, ताकू कहा जाए myofibrils. Myofibrils. This is muscle fibers, but these are myofibrils of the muscle fibers. Clear? And these myofibrils are made up of two proteins. One is myosin and another is the actin. One is myosin and another is actin. And myosins are arranged in, that is thin filament like structure. Clear? And myoactin is also present in thin filament like structure. Myosin are thick filament and actins are thin filament. Clear? Actins, there is actins, that is the protein, that is these filaments which is made up of the protein called as the actin, and these thick filaments which are made up of a protein called as the myosin, Clear? So due to the presence of the two types of that is the filaments in the myofibrils are contractile in nature. And as the myofibrils are contractile in nature, so the total muscle is contracting, or the total muscle cell is contracting. Then after, that is the muscle is formed by the combination of the muscle cells. When the muscle cell contract, the muscle is contracting. Again, it is relaxing. So that is, one is that it has the contracting, but how it receives, but how it takes place, because the energy which is stored in the potential difference in the, that is the membrane, in the membrane, are you understanding? The energy is present in the muscle cells, that is in just, that is the around the plasma or the plasma membrane or the sarcolemma. Here the outer is that is the plus and inner is minus. Clear? So this is the potential difference. This is the potential difference. So there the energy which is stored, that is the energy, that is the moreover the muscle cells contract in a definite direction, then that is the excitation, or that is the excitability is due to the energy stored in the electrical potential difference across the plasma membrane, that is called as for that reason the muscles are receiving the stimuli and they are contracting. That means the energy which is stored in the plasma membrane due to the presence of a potential difference, that is outside is the plus sign and inside is the minus sign. This is the potential difference of that is the plasma membrane, or that is the outer membrane of the muscle cell. For that reason the muscle cells are contracting. Clear? Then, though you can say that why the other cells are not contracting and the muscle cells are contracting, because that is the reason why the muscle cells are contracting, why the muscle cells are exciting. This excitation is occurred due to the potential difference of that is the plasma or sarcolemma. Clear? The energy stored in the potential difference of the plasma or sarcolemma. Clear? Then this is the muscles contract in a particular direction or in a definite direction, or that is the contract in a definite direction, that is the muscle will contract in this way or in this way or in this way like this, but it will not contract in this way and this way. So those muscles which are contracting and relaxing, they are in a particular direction. The longitudinal muscles which are present in the body, longitudinal mane जो गुड़ाक लंबा भाव में अच्छी. Suppose in case of the earthworm, here the muscles are present longitudinally as well as circularly. Circularly longitudinal माने जे लंबा भाव में रही बॉडी सहित दे आर longitudinal, जे बॉडी सहित एमती गोल आकार रही दे आर circular, they are circular. So when the longitudinal muscle contracts, the body will become short. The body will become short, and that is at that times, that is actually the muscles are always remaining in pair. सबले जुड़ाटिया है कि मसल रहिबो, and they act in antagonistic way. Antagonistic माने opposite. जदि लंबा मसल गुड़ा को contract करिवो, circular मसल गुड़ा relax करिवो एई सही समय. So that is simultaneously both the muscles are acting in an antagonistic way. जदि longitudinal muscle गुड़ा को लंबा भाव में जोड़ा को बॉडी सहित अच्छी सी जो कंट्राक्ट करिवो बॉडीटा छोट हो सेतले सर्कुलर मसल जोड़ा को गोल आकार रही से रिलैक्स करिवो बॉडीटा छोट हो आ मोटा हो. So this is that is the muscles are arranged in this way. Clear? So the muscles contract in a definite direction. Clear? Then you come to that is something about, that is the functions of the muscle. Then you come to something about the function of muscle. The function of a muscle, that is the function of a muscle, that is the muscle performs very important functions in the body. The muscles performs very important functions in the body. Clear? That is the body parts as well as the total organism are moving, or that is the movement of the body parts as well as the movement of the organisms is done by the contraction of the muscle or by the muscle. Our heart is contracting and relaxing due to the muscle. Our mouth is, we are speaking, and that is the anus, dhada phara darja, that is contracting and relaxing due to that is the contraction and relaxation of the muscle. Clear? And the muscle contracts, or by the contraction of the muscle, the heat of the body is generated. मन रखिथिबो बॉडीटा हीटा तयारी करूची बाय द कंट्राक्शन ऑफ द मसल. क्लियर? बेले बेले शीतरे कोन हुए देह हाथ कबार थरी उठे, बिकॉज शीत हेले बॉडीर टेम्परेचरटा एडजस्ट करि पारेनी, तेणु बॉडीटा जत मसल क्रैम्पिंग हबो, सो इट क्रिएट्स द और इट जनरेट्स द एनर्जी और हीट. क्लियर? देन आफ्टर दैट इज इट हैज इंपोर्टेंट रोल एट द टाइम ऑफ पार्चुरेशन. जो पिलाटा जन्म हो पार्चुरेशन माने चाइल्ड डेलीवरी. दैट इज व्हेन द चाइल्ड इज delivered or comes out from the mother's uterus, that process is called as the parturition. से पार्चुरेशन समय मसल एक्शन भी बहुत अच्छी जोटा कि पिलाटा बाहर को आसुची है. एंड मसल सपोर्ट्स, दैट इज द स्केलेटन्स एज वेल एज ऑलमोस्ट ऑल द बॉडी पार्ट्स. दिस इज the function of the muscle. That is such we can say that muscles are the agents of the brain. Suppose I am thinking to beat you, and by the order of my brain, that is my hand will rise and it will beat to you. तामने हाथटा उठिबो तुमको चापड़े मारिबो. So this is the muscles is otherwise called as the agents of the brain. Clear? Then you come to that is the types of muscle. This is all about that is the muscle cell in brief. Then you come to the types of the muscle. So today I am a little bit rapid because I have to finish today the muscle cell. 3 types of muscle cells, and I have finished today. Clear? Because I have taken many classes in the animal tissue. Then I have to finish within 2 classes. Today I will finish the muscle, and that is the next class I will finish the nervous system. Then after we will proceed towards the physiological stuff, that is the processes like the respiration and circulation, etc. So that is you come to the types of the muscles. That is the muscles. or muscle tissue is of three types. Is of three types. One is striated muscle. One is striated muscles. Another is unstriated muscle. Muscles. And another is the cardiac muscle. Clear? You first come one by one. First you start the striated muscle. The amount of the striated muscle is maximum in our body because it is present almost, that is the, or most of the part of the body, like the limbs, then that is the belly and the legs, etc. Maximum muscles are of this type. And most of the parts are, that is, controlled by this muscle, so it is called as the somatic muscle. Most of the body parts, it is called as the somatic muscle. It is otherwise called as the somatic muscles. Clear? Then it is otherwise called as the somatic muscles. Then it is many names. It is otherwise called as the skeletal muscle. That is the skeletal muscles. Why it is called as the skeletal muscle? Because its two ends are attached to the bones. Suppose this is the arm and this is another. So suppose this is the muscle and here these are the two connection of the muscle. एमती हाथटा एपटे गुटे ए जो मसलटा आमर अच्छी दिस इज सपोज दिस इज द मसल क्लियर ए मसल एपटे मुंड गोटे अच्छी एपटे मुंड अच्छी एगुड़ा कह जाए टेंडन एगुड़ा कह जाए टेंडन क्लियर एंड दिस इज कॉल्ड एज द बेली एटा को मझीटा कह जाए बेली क्लियर सो द striated muscle, the two ends of the striated muscle are attached to the bones, so they are called as the skeletal muscle. Otherwise, it is also called as the stripped muscle. Striated and stripped ekak jinso. Stripped, gara gara. So this, that is the, my shirt is stripped one, here, and here. So like that, the gara gara haichi, this is stripped. So it is striated because these muscles, if you see these muscles are more or less are cylindrical and elongated. And these muscles are about 10 to 40 millimeter in length. Muscle cells. So this is a muscle cells, clear? And it has many nuclei. So it is syncytial cell. Syncytial माने जोटी more than one nuclei थिबो ताका भितरे partition wall नाही. So it is called as the syncytial cell. Clear? And here the myofibrils are present. The muscle cell means myofibrils are present. Otherwise it cannot contract and relax. And these myofibrils are, or these muscle cells are, that is the marked by alternate white and dark bands. So these are called as the striated muscle. Are you understanding me or not? So that is, these muscles have the alternate white and dark bands. That is, these are called as the dark band, or you can say this is white band and these are the dark bands. So alternate white and dark bands are found in the muscle cell. It is a muscle cell. And above which, that is your sarcolemma is present. Your sarcolemma is present. Clear? And that sarcolemma in a muscle bundle extend as a cord like or दौड़ी भलिया गोटे एक्सटेंशन होइथिबो एंड दिस इज कॉल्ड एज द टेंडन जोटा मसल बोन को लागिछि जोटा बोन को लागिछि So this is a muscle fiber. गुड़ाए muscle fiber रहिले गोटे bend हबो गोटे muscle हबो आउ से muscle रो ऊपर मुंडटा एमती pointed हबो आउ एटा हबो belly आउ एटा हबो that is this is tendon and it is also tendon and this is the belly of the muscle. एटी muscle cell गुड़ा रहिबो हला muscle fibers the muscle cell गुड़ा रहिबो एटा मो गुटे muscle देखौ cell देखौची that is the striated muscle and these striated muscles are otherwise called as the voluntary muscles because it is or it acts under or by the will of the individual. धर आमे चाहूचे हम हाथटा उठेबा एमते उठेले. So these muscles are that is the striated muscle or voluntary muscle. That means it works according to our will. So these muscles are called as the voluntary muscle, and these muscles are called as the physic muscles, and it is otherwise called as the fatigue muscles because these muscles act very rapidly or contract very rapidly and becomes fatigue. शीघ्र काम करिवो आ शीघ्र क्लांत हो जिवो fatigue हला. So it is called as fatigue माने क्लांत. एटा क्लांत हो जिवो due to the deposition of lactic acids. Clear? lactic acids एगुडा तेणु एटा तो शीघ्र क्लांत होचे आउ सेति पय याको कहौ छै physic muscle or it is called as that is the fatigue muscles. Clear? So it has many names. One is the striated or stripped. Both the meanings are same, striated or stripped, because the muscles cells having the white and dark alternate bands are found. Clear? Then after it is called as the somatic muscle because most of the body part is controlled by these muscles or that is the works by this muscle. So it is called as the somatic muscle. Then it is skeletal muscle because it's a two end or the muscles. Are you understanding what is muscle? Muscle is the combination of muscle cell and the muscle cell contains the myofibrils and the myofibrils contains the myofilament and these myofilaments are formed of the myosin and actin. Myosin is the thick protein bands and the actins are thin protein bands. Clear? So here these bands are formed by the alternate arrangement of the myosin and actin. So the white bands are that is the made up of the actin protein and here the dark bands are made up by the myosin protein. Clear? So the myosin and actins are arranged in patch manner, that is one band is actin, another band is myosin. So in this way it gives that is a stripped color. Then it is called as the voluntary muscle. That means it works according to our willpower. Clear? So this type of muscle are called as the striated muscle or voluntary muscle or that is the stripped muscle or somatic muscle, etc. Clear? And it contains that is the myofibrils are present about that is 100 to 1000 numbers. Myofibrils are present within a single cell. Clear? Then here we will see that is it is of two types. That is the red muscles and that is another is white fibers. The red muscle fibers and white muscle fiber. Why it is called as the red muscle fiber? In the red muscle fibers that is the structurally they are short muscle and they contains the large number of nuclei are present. They contains the nuclei towards the inner region of the cell. Suppose this is the cell. एटा हला सेल रो बाउंड्री ये एठी भी न्यूक्लियस रही पारे किंबा भितरे रही पारे. तेणु रेड मसल गुडा करे एटा रेड मसल एंड व्हाइट मसल दैट इज द रेड मसल. In the red muscle the nuclei are present to the inner region of the cell. एटा भितर आडी की रहिबो हला आउ and it contains the myoglobulin. myoglobin. That is, it contains the pigment called as the myoglobin, which has the capacity to, that is the absorbs or to, that is the receives the oxygen, which has capacity to store the oxygen. That is the myoglobin. Clear? And that is, so these are the red muscle, and these red muscles, that is it is a slow muscle. Its action is very slow. It is short sight and its action is slow, so it works for a longer period. It works for a longer period. So these are called as the slow muscle. These are called as the slow muscle. In case of the white muscle, that is, they are elongated fibers. These fibers are elongated in nature, and that is, they have the peripheral nuclei. तामाने साइड के थिबो ए दैट इज सार्कोलेमा तळुकु जस्ट न्यूक्लियाई उडा थिबो आउ इट डज नॉट कंटेन्स द मायोग्लोबिन. इट डज नॉट कंटेन्स द मायोग्लोबिन. Clear? And the amount of mitochondria is also less, but here the mitochondria is more. Clear? In red muscle, here the amount of mitochondria is less. Clear? So they are white muscle, but they works or they oxidize and or they liberate the energy suddenly. Clear? As a result of which it is used, that is when that is the sudden energy is required. Clear? It is used at the time of weightlifting, and that is the jumping. है जो जंप करुवा जे वेट लिफ्टिंग हूँ कहीकि एमती टेकीदवा है ओजन को, दैट इज कॉल्ड एज द वेट लिफ्टिंग. दौड़ी जाकि चिला मारदवा, शॉर्ट रनिंग 100 मीटर्स रनिंग करवा, एगुड़ाक किए काम कर ना, दैट इज द व्हाइट मसल फाइबर्स और व्हाइट मसल्स. एंड रेड मसल काम कर कौटी लंग रन बहुत बाट आम दौड़ा 1800 2000 2500 एगुड़ाक सब सेटा काम कर. आर यू अंडरस्टैंडिंग or not? That is, this is the muscle cell, and that is the striated muscles are maximum in our body, and so it is called as the somatic muscle, and it has many names. Striated, stripped muscle, because it has, that is the alternate white and dark bands due to the presence of alternate actin and myosin filaments. The myosins are thick filament, that is the protein, and the actins are thin proteins. Clear? They arranged, that is alternately on the myofibril. ସେମାନେ ମାୟୋଫାଇବ୍ରିଲ ହେଉଛନ୍ତି. ଯେତେବେଳେ ମାୟୋଫାଇବ୍ରିଲ ଅଛି ତେଣୁ ଗୋଟେ ମସଲ ସେଲ୍ଟା ଗୁଡ଼ାଏ ମାୟୋଫାଇବ୍ରିଲ ଦ୍ୱାରା ତିଆରି, କେତେଟା 100ରୁ 1000 ପାଖାପାଖି. ତେଣୁ ଯେହେତୁ ସେମାନେ, ତେଣୁ ମସଲ ସେଲ୍ଟା କ'ଣ ହେବ, ଧଳା କଳା ଅଲ୍ଟରନେଟ୍ ବେଣ୍ଡ ଦେଖାଇବ. ସୋ ଇଟ୍ ଇଜ୍ କଲ୍ଡ ଏଜ୍ ଦି ଷ୍ଟ୍ରାଇଏଟେଡ୍ ଅର୍ ଷ୍ଟ୍ରିପ୍ଡ ମସଲ. ୟା ଉପରେ ଦ୍ୟାଟ୍ ଇଜ୍ ସାର୍କୋଲେମା ଅଛି ହେଲା. ଆଉ ସାର୍କୋଲେମାଟା ଗୋଟେ ମସଲରେ ଏକ୍ସଟେନସନ୍ ହେଇକି ଟେଣ୍ଡନ୍ ହେବ, ଯେଉଁ ଟେଣ୍ଡନ୍ଟା ମସଲ ବୋନ୍ର ଦି ସାଇଡ଼୍ରେ ଆଟାଚ୍ ହେବ. କ୍ଲିଅର୍? ଦେନ୍ ଇଟ୍ ଇଜ୍ କଲ୍ଡ ଏଜ୍ ଦି ଭଲେଣ୍ଟାରୀ ମସଲ, କାରଣ ଏଇଟା ଆମ ଇଚ୍ଛାରେ କାମ କରୁଛି. ମୁଁ ଚାହୁଁଛି ମୋ ହାତଟାକୁ ଏମିତି ଉଠେଇମି, ଟେକିମି, ପକେଇମି, ତେଣୁ ଦିସ୍ ଇଜ୍ ଏଇ ଯେଉଁ ମସଲ ଗୁଡ଼ା ଅଛି ଏଗୁଡ଼ା ହେଉଛି ଭଲେଣ୍ଟାରୀ ମସଲ୍ସ. So these are called as the striated muscle, and it is called as the physic muscle, or otherwise called as the fatigue muscle, because it works rapidly or it contracts rapidly, then after it becomes fatigue rapidly. Clear? So this is the physic muscle as well as fatigue muscle. And that is these are of two types. One is red muscle, another is white muscle. Red muscle contains the myoglobin as well as the nucleus, that is the centrally placed nuclei, and they are the short muscle, so and they works very slowly, so they are called as the slow muscle. And here the white muscles are elongated and the nuclei are present towards the periphery with the presence of the myofibrils, and it works, that is rapidly. Clear? And this type of muscles are used at the time of weightlifting, that is short running and high jump, etc. Clear? So this is all about in briefly, it is a striated muscle. Clear? And there are so many other things are there. Inside the striated muscle, there is, in a white bands, there is a Z line. Clear? These are the Z line. And the Z line. From the Z line to Z line, it is called as the sarcomere. And the sarcomere is the structural and functional unit of the myofibrils as well as in the striated muscle. Clear? That is one, that is the sarcomere, that is about 2 to 3 micron in length. And one sarcomere consists of, that is the dark bands and 2 light bands. One dark bands and 2 half, that is the light bands. So this is the light and this is the Z line, and also this is the Z line. If I will, that is, teach detail, then it will take another class. So I have to finish today, because that is, I have taken maximum class in the animal tissue. So I want to finish within the, or today, with, that is the muscles, and in another class I will finish the nerve tissue. So this is the Z line, and so the Z line to Z line, it is called as the sarcomere. So when the muscle contracts, the actin filaments slides over the myosin. These are the myosin filament. And the actin filament, that is the moves towards the, that is the center, and this is called as the center. The light zone is called as the H zone. By the contraction of the muscle, the H zone is vanished. That is, both the actin filaments, that is, slide over the myosin and touch to each other. Clear? So the H line or the H zone is reduced, and that is the Z line becomes closer to the myosin filament. Clear? If the time will permit, then I will teach you the muscle contraction. At that times I will teach you detail. Clear? So this is all about that is the striated muscle. So let me start the unstriated muscle. So let me start the unstriated muscle. The unstriated muscle means here the muscles are unstriated muscle, or it is called as the involuntary muscles. Involuntary muscles. It is called as the unstriated or unstripped muscle because here you see that the muscle cells are elongated and like the spindle shaft. The middle one is wider and contains the nucleus, and the cytoplasmic organelles are more or less restricted in this region, just surrounding the nucleus. Then the myofibrils which are present, myofibrils, they extend from end to end in a, that is in the long axis they are arranged. Clear? That is, the muscle fibers are arranged generally in their long axis of the muscle. Clear? And here the myofibrils do not appear, that is white and, or the white and dark bands are not appeared in the myofibrils of the unstriated muscle, because here in the myofibrils the actin filament of the protein and myosin film, that is protein, are arranged in a scattered, not in a, that is a particular, that is the, or in a compact manner. They are arranged. Suppose गोटे धला जदि सूता गोटे रोटे धला लाइन हम ता पाखे गोटे कला सूता जदि खाली रला लाइन हम तेणु धला कला एमती अल्टरनेट गार हम किंतु जदि धला कला सूता सब मिसीज ताने कौन हम एटा किसी गार रही गोटे प्रकार कलर किसी देखनी ठीक सेमती एटी कौन है ना एक्टिन एंड मायोसिन फिलामेंट्स और द प्रोटीन्स आर इंटरमिक्सड दे आर मिक्सड टू ईच अदर दे आर नॉट सेपरेटली arranged, they are not arranged separately. Eti kon hai these are the myosin and these are the actin protein. So the myosin protein behaves as the black band and the actin protein behaves as the white band. But here the actin protein and the myosin protein are mixed to each other without giving any definite color. तेणु ता भितर गोटे definite color से दौ नाहंती. Clear? And these muscles are involuntary. Involuntary means they do not work according to our will. ସେମାନେ ଆମ ଇଚ୍ଛାରେ କାମ କରିବେ ନାହିଁ, ସେ ତା ଇଚ୍ଛାରେ କରିବ. ଏଗୁଡ଼ାକ କେଇଟି ଅଛି ନା in the wall of that is the tubular structure of visceral organ. Visceral माने internal organ. जोगुड़ा ट्यूब लाइक स्ट्रक्चर धर खाद्य नळीर चारिआडे एई प्रकार मसल अछि. आमे चेष्टा कले भी खाद्यटा खाईदेले ढेकी देकी कहबा एइटी अटकी जा, अटकीबनी, से पळेबो तळुकू. बिकॉज देयर इज दिस दैट इज खाद्य नळीरे अछि unstriated muscle which are not controlled by our will power. So the muscle that is inside which the food material automatically pass, it is not controlled by our will power. So this is unstriated muscle. ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ କ'ଣ ରହୁଛି ନା ଆଉ କୋଉଠି ରହିଛି ନା oviduct, elementary that is the female ର reproductive organ ले गोटे oviduct अछि. blood vessel ହେଲା, blood vessel रो wall रे अछि. So these are they are present on the wall of that is the tubular structure of the internal, that is the tubular structure of the internal viscera. Viscera माने internal organ रे एगुडा सब रहिछि हला. These are called as the unstriated muscle, unstripped muscle, involuntary muscle, and they are also called as non-skeletal muscle because they are not attached to the skeleton. ସେମାନେ କେବେ ହାଡ଼ को attach କରି ନାହାନ୍ତି ବା bone को attach କରି ନାହାନ୍ତି ବା skeleton को attach କରି ନାହାନ୍ତି. They are called as that is the skeletal, that is the non-skeletal muscles. Then they are again that is, and they are also, that is the another thing is that here they are of two types. One is multi-unit, another is that is the single unit. One is multi-unit, another is the single unit. Multi-unit means ମୁଁ ତୁମକୁ କ'ଣ କହିଛି ଦେ ମସଲ୍ ସେଲ୍ ଗୁଡ଼ାକ ମିଶିକି ଗୋଟେ ମସଲ୍ ହେବେ. ଏଇ ଯେଉଁ ଆମର ମସଲ୍ ଗୁଡ଼ା ଦେଖାହେଉଛି ୟା ଭିତରେ ଗୁଡ଼ାଏ ମସଲ୍ ଅଛନ୍ତି, ସେଲ୍ ଅଛନ୍ତି. So this is the muscle and each muscle cells are separated from each other. When each muscle cells are separated each other by that is a presence of that is a thin membrane like structure made up of the glycoprotein by which the substances of one cell cannot enter into the another cell. That is the substance or the information of one cell cannot pass into another cell, and each muscle fiber behaves independently. Each muscle fiber behaves independently and each one is connected by separate nerve fibers. So it is called as the multi-unit muscle. So this muscle contains those fibers and these fibers are working independently by the connection of separate nerve fibers. So this is called as the multi-unit muscle fibers, and it is otherwise called as the neurogenic muscle, and otherwise called as, these are called as otherwise the neurogenic muscle. Are you understanding me or not? गोटे मसल सेल, गोटे मसल बंडल, ता भितर गुड़ाए मसल सेल अछंती. ये मसल सेल गुड़ा समस्त जदियो बंडल होइकी रहिचंती, बट दे आर नॉट इंटरकनेक्टेड. से माने तांको सहित लागू नांती. एठू इनफॉरमेशन ताकत की जीवनी, ताकतर इनफॉरमेशन आकत की जीवनी, एंड दे आर सेपरेटली कनेक्टेड विथ द नर्व फाइबर्स. क्लियर? नार्भर इम्पल्स देले जाइकी मसलटा कंट्राक्ट हम. जदि नार्भस सिस्टम कनेक्शन हम ना मसल को, ताले मसल काम करिवो नाही. मन रखिथिबो पैरालिसिस पेशेंट माने जो माने पैरालिसिस हाथ गोड़ चालू नहीं, कारण तांकर मसल गुड़ाक कंट्राक्ट करू नाही. तेणु जतबे कंट्राक्ट करू नाही, काहे की करू नाही ना सेठी की नार्भ इम्पल्स आइदर आसु नाही, किंबा ए जो मसल फाइबर जो पत्र ऊपर जो मायोफाइब्रिल्स अच्छी बा सार्कोलेमा अच्छी, से कौन करुचे ना इम्पल्स को रिसीव करि पारु नाही. हला. सो ए प्रकार कंट्राक्ट रे सेइथिपाई चाइना रे गोटे अकोपंक्चर अच्छी, से माने नार्भ गुड़ाक सब कौन करते स्टिमुलेटेड करते पिन द्वारा कले हुए तो नार्भटा पुणी काम करि पारे. तेणु एठी कौन है ना प्रति मसल गोटे मसल बंडल भितर जिते मसल फाइबर अच्छा से इंडिपेंडेंटली काम कर विथ द ऑर्डर ऑफ सेपरेट nerve fibers. Clear? So this is called as the multi-unit muscle. जदि एटा गोटे मसल किंतु एटी जते फाइबर अछि से सेपरेट काम करूछंती आ सेपरेट तेनु याको कहा होछि न्यूरोजेनिक मसल. That is all other called as neurogenic muscle. And in a single unit muscle fibers, in muscle, that is सब muscle गुड़ा contact रछने आ एटा गोटे nerve द्वारा contact होछि बा कंट्रोल होछि. एटी कोन होछि ना समस्त इंटरकनेक्टेड होछि गोटे मसल फाइबर रो इनफॉरमेशन ता आ गोटे मसल फाइबर को जाई परछि. बुझी पारछ कि नहीं? आगे देखो जे मसल ता कोन ना मसल इज कॉम्बिनेशन ऑफ मसल फाइबर्स. मसल फाइबर कौन ना मसल सेल्स. then प्रति मसल cell has the capacity to contract and relax, so the total muscle is contracting and relaxing. Clear? So जदि सिंगल यूनिट मसल रे कौन हम ना सेठी जते फाइबर अछंती से माने गुटिए यूनिट भलिया काम करिवे बा गुटिए मसल भलिया काम करिवे एंड इट इज कंट्रोल्ड बाय ओनली वन नर्व फाइबर्स. And this is called as myogenic muscle. This is called as the myogenic muscle. So egudaka 8 rehila. So this is called as the striated muscle. Then you come to the last part, that is called as the cardiac muscle. Clear? So you come to the last part, that is called as the cardiac muscle. The cardiac muscle, you have heard the name, that is the cardiologist and the cardiac arrest, etc. Clear? The cardiology means study of a muscle. Heart is called as the, that is the cardiology, or the study of cardiac muscle is called as the cardio. The heart is called as the cardiologist, and the who is, that is the studying it, and the specialist in the cardiac or the heart is called as the cardiologist. So the cardiac muscle is especially present only in the heart, only in the heart. And these muscles are present in the heart as well as, that is, in the large veins, in the wall of large veins, in the wall of large veins, and those veins which enters into the heart, those veins which enters into the heart. Clear? They are the cardiac muscles, or the cardiac muscles are, that is the muscles which are restricted in the heart as well as in the wall of the veins, those veins which enters into the heart. Clear? Like the pulmonary vein and the systemic, that is the superior vena cava. So pulmonary veins, the veins which collect the, that is the blood from the lungs, जोटा lungs रू नहीं क्या आसुचे सेटा हला pulmonary, blood नहीं क्या आसुचे सेटा हला pulmonary veins. Similarly जोटा आउ गोटा होची किए, that is your precaval veins and postcaval veins. These are the, so this is the cardiac muscle. And the cardiac muscle, structurally and functionally, it is intermediate between striated and unstriated. It is intermediate between striated and unstriated, means structurally it is similar with the striation, कारण या धेरे धला कला गार सब अल्टरनेट गार रही है, कारण आ धेरे जो मायोफाइब्रिल्स अच्छी से मायोफाइब्रिल्स रे पैच पैच एक्टिन आ मायोसिन अच्छी जोटा देखा होची धला कला पैच भलिया. ता छड़ा या मझिरे गोटे गोटे मोटा मोटा पैच थिबो ताकू कहंती इंटरकैलेटेड डिस्क, या भितरे कहंती गोटे इंटरकैलेटेड डिस्क. ए इंटरकैलेटेड डिस्क जणाए जे गोटे सेल एटी सरीची आ गोटे सेल रो एंडिंग सेउटू आरंभ होईची. ता माने सपोज दिस इज द इंटरकैलेटेड डिस्क, so this is the intercalated, so this is the, in this is the, that is the area of one cell. इंटरकैलेटेड डिस्क भितरे गोटे सेल रो निर्दिष्ट एरिया रही, एटा गोटे सेल एटा गोटे सेल एटा गोटे सेल एटा होची इंटरकैलेटेड डीप लाइन अदरवाइज लाइट एंड डार्क बैंड्स आर प्रेजेंट अल्टरनेटली इन ए थिन मैनर बा पतला पतला किंतु मोटा मोटा ये गोटे गोटे कला कलागार थी ताकू कहती इंटरकैलेटेड डिस्क जोटा जनाऊँगी जे बाउंड्री लाइन ऑफ वन सेल आउ ये सेल गुड़ाक समस्ते यूनिन्यूक्लिएटेड गोटे गोटे न्यूक्लियस रे अच्छी आउ आंकर विशेषत्व होची एटा हला कोन ना स्ट्राइएटेड मसल सहित यार स्ट्रक्चरल समान किंतु यार विशेषत्व होची दी मसल फाइबर्स आर इंटरलिंक्ड बाय दी लेटरल दैट इज द ब्रिज बा ऑब्लिक ब्रिज ए जो लेटरल ब्रिज रहिला ए लेटरल ब्रिज रे समान सब कोन करछ बा ऑब्लिक ब्रिज रे समान सब इंटर कनेक्टेड हला जहाँद्वारा कि गोटे जगार इम्पल्स हेले सेटा टोटाल चारिआड़ की खेल तेणु हार्टर गोटे जगार जो इम्पल्सटा आसो से टोटाल आट्रियम को कंट्राक्ट कर पुणी भेंट्रिकलटा जो इम्पल्स हो पुणी भेंट्रिकलटा को कंट्राक्ट एटा हूँ अलिंद एटा हूँ निलय है तेणु जो इम्पल्सटा आसो जदि गोटे मसल को टच कर नार्व गोटे बा तार स्टिमुली दब से टोटाल ए टोटालटा को से कंट्राक्ट करदेव कारण दिस ऑल दी मसल्स will work simultaneously एका सांगे समस्त काम करेंगे because they are interconnected. Similarly, another that is the stimuli when it reach into the ventricle, so the total ventricle will contract. Clear? Then total नलिंद. But there is a partition wall between the atrium and ventricle. तेणु atrium और ventricle टा दी जन जाक सांगे contract हेबे नहीं कारण एठी गोटे partition wall अछि एउटो एतिक atrial cardiac muscle एउटो एतिक ventricular cardiac muscle. Clear? So the cardiac muscle आउ कौन कहूँ ना आउटा वर्क केमिति करूची ना एटा वर्क होची लाइक दी स्ट्राइएटेड मसल ये आम इच्छा रे कमिबो नाही कि बढ़िबो नाही कि आमे ताको चाहिले भी स्टॉप करि परिबानी कि बढ़ाई परिबा नाही सो स्ट्रक्चरली इट इज सिमिलर विथ दी स्ट्राइएटेड मसल but functionally it is similar with the unstriated muscle or involuntary muscle and which is restricted or that is the only in the heart as well as on the wall of the main veins which enter into the heart. Clear? So this is all about the cardiac muscles. And another thing is that the cardiac muscle that is here, there is no sarcolemma. Here is a sarcolemma, but here in case of the unstriated muscle there is no sarcolemma. Clear? Then these muscles are self-excitatory muscles. They are myogenic muscles. But then another thing is that cardiac muscles starts its action from the beginning of the life, from the embryonic stage. It starts its action or it starts its function when the child is at 1 month. It starts its function till the end of the life. जतले एटार एक्शन बंद हो जिवो सेतले लोक मरि जिवो तेनु गोटे क्वेश्चन पड़े which muscle or which cell works from the beginning of the life to the end of the life. That is called as the cardiac muscle cell or cardiac muscle cell. That is, these muscle cells works from the beginning of the life and ends at the beginning of the life. So it is called as the cardiac muscles are immune to fatigue and the tetanus. Fatigue माने क्लांत हुए नहीं जीवन सारा से केबे क्लांत अनुभव करी नहीं आउ दैट इज टिटानस माने गोटे मसल को इम्पल्स देले से मसलटा एमती कंट्राक्टाइल स्टेट रहिबो मते कहबो सारा एटा टिके धरिक ठिया हंतुनी मु एमती धरिक ठियामी हातटा टेकिमी तेणु ए मसल गुडा हमर सबले एमती कंट्राक्ट होइक रहिला किंतु कार्डियक मसल्स एमती केबे कंट्राक्ट होइक रहिबो नाही थरे कंट्राक्ट हेछि माने रिलैक्स हबो सो दैट इज कॉल्ड एज द टिटानस देन पूरा कंट्राक्ट होइक रहिबाटा होछि टिटानस हला टिटानस माने धनुष्टंकार एमती हाथ गुड़ा केम्पी जीव इट इज इम्यून टू ये केबे टिटानस हबो नाही बा एंड ये केबे क्लांत हबो नाही हला सो इट इज दैट इज इम्यून टू फैटिग एंड टिटानस क्लियर देन अनदर थिंग यू शुड रिमेंबर दैट इज हियर द इन आवर बॉडी देयर आर अबाउट 639 muscles are there. In our body, there are about 639 muscles are there. And muscle fibers are about 6 trillion. 6 trillion. 6 trillion. Trillion टा होची trillion होची 6 to the power 10 to the power 12. ता माने 6 रो 12टा शून्य 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 एटी गोले दिए 12 है एमती 12टा सुन एतिकीटा मसल सेल आम बॉडी भितर इन जनरल नियाई इट इज इन जनरल आउ सबुठारु स्ट्रंगेस्ट मसल किए ज मसल जदि हाथ में तुम खोली पारन कि गोटे कैप फैप से दांत लगे दौच सो दि मसल स्विच दैट इज कीप्स टाइट टू दि जॉ बोन्स दे आर कॉल्ड एज दि जॉ मसल सबुठारु छोट मसल कईटी ना कान रे अच्छी दैट इज स्टेपिडियस 3टा बोन अच्छी कान रे मिस मेलियस इनकस स्टेप से स्टेपटा हूँ सबुठारु छोट बोन बॉडी रे आ से स्टेप को जी धरिकी रखी दैट इज कॉल्ड एज द स्टेपिडियस मसल एंड अनदर इज द लॉन्गेस्ट मसल इज कॉल्ड एज द ग्लूटियस दैट इज मैक्सिमस जोटा कईटी ना फ्रॉम हिप टू थाई एटा हूँ सबुठारु लंबा मसल सो टुडे द टाइम हैज already gone so I have to finish that is so with this the muscle tissue is finished and into the next class I will start the nervous tissue try to that is I hope you should understand me clear thank you to all